I don't know exactly what movie I thought I was walking into, but this wasn't it. Blumhouse has gotten to the point where they have mastered the art of low-budget PG-13 horror. If you would have told me 6 years ago that I would be such a fan of PG-13 horror, I would have told you that you were full of shit. Because part of what makes horror movies scary is the realism for me. And I'm sorry, but if I was in any horror movie ever, name it, it wouldn't be PG-13 because I would be saying fuck every 6 minutes and shit and dick, like the gamut of curse words. So the fact that these people in these movies, and I know it's a movie, can keep it composed enough to put out a PG-13 horror movie, I applaud it. But these films that Blumhouse releases, they make their budget back within opening weekend, and they go on to gross over $100 million off of a $10 million budget. They've mastered that formula the same way Marvel did with comic book movies. And it works. Whether it's critically success is hit or miss. But it makes money, and it gets people in theaters. Now, last time I checked, this movie was at a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes by critics. Do I think it's worthy of that 93%? No. No, I do not. I don't know what in this movie makes it a 93, but this feels very much like your 60 to 65%. Like, I don't know, maybe I missed the mark. I mean, I get the appeal, but it just wasn't executed or laid out in a way that I think is worthy of that score. And I'm not a person that it lives by and dies by the Rotten Tomatoes score. I just want to be clear. But in most instances, it's correct. And this is not one of them. The story is pretty straightforward, and the performances are great. Allison Williams, I continue to be a bigger fan of her every time I see her on screen. It's a shame that I didn't even see her in anything until Get Out. I don't know how much work she'd done before that, but the biggest issue with this movie is the balance of horror and comedy. And it's not to say that they do either one of them specifically bad. I think the comedy works, at least most of it does. I was laughing along with my wife and other people we went to the movies with, but the issue lied within the horror aspect of it. Not only was it, I feel like, completely overshadowed by the comedy, this movie was much funnier than it was scary. I don't think it was scary at all. And that's the issue, is you bill it as a horror movie and it's labeled as a horror movie and you have the rating and tell them what to look out for. But you sit down in the theaters and it's not a horror movie. The horror elements always felt rushed and they were just poorly executed. Like none of the scares in this movie really carried weight for me, where I'm like, I wonder what's gonna happen to these characters. I'm worried for them. It didn't emit that feeling at all. I don't know if there was a mix of practical effects and CG with M3GAN. I think there was, because in some instances where she's sitting still, it looks fantastic and it looks like a doll. And then in other instances where it's controlled by an actress, you see kind of like the rendering wasn't done perfectly around her head, and you can kind of see the misplacement of some of the graphics. It just, I don't know, it kind of stuck out for me a little too much. And I know I'm probably nitpicking at this point, but give me a fucking break. As if the rest of this movie didn't lead you down a path of balls to the wall, the last 15 minutes of this movie provide a showdown that I don't think anyone planned on seeing in this movie. Have you seen Real Steel? That's all I'll say. It's not that this film is bad, because it's not. But it's not great. So if you go to see this, please weather your expectations and make sure that you're going in with the right amount of confidence. You might fucking love this movie. Most people have. I think the critic score, or not the critic score, the audience score was up there too. So, I mean, it's a hit on every front if you look at the internet. But hopefully I'll enjoy this movie once it's released on physical media, and hopefully there's an unrated version or something, because a lot of these kills could have been a lot more effective on screen, and I'm hoping they didn't just leave all that on the cutting room floor. Plus, an R rating just fits so much better for Blumhouse. They know exactly what they're doing. Anyways, regardless of what I think, please go see M3GAN, support Blumhouse, support small budget horror. The more you support it, the more we get of it. Just do me a favor. Thank you guys for checking out my review, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.